Welcome.
Episode 1, official.
First proper episode.
And you know what? This is the most we've ever done. Honestly, I'm proud of us. So high five
Hey,
for
Rob.
that. Woo! There we are. So as you can probably tell, we're in a different setting.
Yes,
We're
no
not
longer my garage.
no longer the casting couch.
Yes.
We are actually at my house,
Yes.
poolside, with a lovely shisha as well. So kick back, relax, and if you hear the bubbles, some nice ASMR.
You can't see the pool, but I don't know if you can hear that either, but it's there.
It's there. It's there.
So yes, here we are.
All right. Well, I kind of wanted to dive into more talking about us this episode, purely because we did have a little bit of
A
an
bit.
introduction.
Yeah.
But we'll start off with like work, I reckon, because you know we both have different experiences in terms of work. What have you done for work, Bruno?
Well, I suppose my first job was at McDonald's for 6 weeks.
Yep.
So that was an interesting experience. I didn't hate it. I was working up front, so it's usually chicks working up the front and blokes at the back. But the only
Wait,
other
really?
bloke, yeah, they
Was there a specific reason as to why? Or
I have no idea why, but I think when they hired me, they were trying to change that up because the only other bloke that worked up the front was hired the same time as me, with the same group interview and such. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a bit odd, but so be it, I guess. Yeah, it was weird. Like I said, I didn't hate it, but it was just a bit. It wasn't for me, and it's pretty hard work too. I mean, obviously people use the whole you don't want to end up flipping burgers, but fuck, it's hard work. So
I can imagine it's very high intense.
the heat is insane. I was working around September-ish,
Yeah.
and that was. I can't imagine what it'd be like working there in the middle of January or something, you know?
No way. I've always kind of wondered, because with my jobs, it's been very different in terms of every job I've worked in. I'm like, the customers wouldn't know what we actually do behind the scenes. Like, this is actually really interesting to learn. Was there anything that, like, the fast food industry ever did that was just like, the customers wouldn't really know that we do this?
Well, I think it's sort of in that vein.
Okay.
So when I worked, the McDonald's Monopoly thing was going on.
Yeah.
And because I was learning, you know, obviously you make mistakes and such, but the amount of cups that I accidentally threw out, or like McFlurry cups for McFlurries, I guess.
Yeah.
If I stuff up the ice cream, I've got to chuck it out. Same with frozen Cokes too. The amount I threw out was like ridiculous. I feel like all the winning tickets have probably been thrown out somewhere along the line.
You know what? That actually gets me thinking, because those winning tickets are so rare to get.
They are. There'd be one of each major prize. So you think to get the one, then you got to also consider that like there could be like some freak accident where they spill, I don't know, chili sauce on like a stack of 100 cups. All gone. Can't
That
use
seems
them.
very specific, Bruno. You telling us something?
No, I haven't done that. But it's very possible. So yeah, the winning tickets, they've probably been thrown out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I also stole some tickets. No, not stole, but...
No, look, I did the exact same. If I worked at Macca's, I'd take like cups.
Well, I didn't quite do that, but when I was cleaning up, because I work front, obviously I had to go out and clean up tables and such.
Yeah.
So I just grabbed all the Monopoly stickers, chuck them in my pocket. If they were used or not, didn't matter, I could check. But yeah, no, I had a few. I feel like if I won the prize though, like a car, they'd obviously staff aren't allowed to win those prizes.
Aren't they?
No, and neither are their families either.
Is that what they said?
I'm pretty sure that's somewhere in the terms and conditions. They didn't
Really?
explicitly say it, but I'm pretty sure I've read that. How about your work? You got any intriguing stories?
Well,
Shisha now?
yeah, well, the person that's not talking gets the shisha. Yeah, so I worked in sales for a majority of last year. Surprisingly, there are Aussies in the industry that do call up people and like, hey, do you want to buy some of the electricity from this company? Do you want to enroll in this course? And stuff like that. And what we would do is, how it would work is we'd have, you know, a student go on our website, put in their details on the website, and we'd get that information, and then we'd call them. So usually we'd have their first name, second name, email, and phone number. Sometimes when they don't put anything on, we actually get their IP address, and we can find out all their information in terms of how to contact them, which is really shifty. Really, really shifty. I do have actually a story that I can share. I talked about it with you today.
Yes, in the car.
It was kind of like an Uno reverse card.
Ooh.
So we'll use a fake name.
Yes.
For privacy reasons, obviously. Even
Obviously.
though I know she's definitely not going to watch it. But we'll use a fake name. So I call up this person. We'll say her name is Emily Maxwell.
Maxwell.
Right?
Easy.
Emily Maxwell. So I call up Emily and I'm like, hey Emily, it's Lukas from learning.com.au. Just for example, right? Learning.com.au. I've seen that you're interested in our veterinarian course, and I was just wondering if I can have a quick chat with you just in regards to the course. Wouldn't say we're selling it. She's like, oh yeah, awesome, I actually have some time, like this is really good, like I'm super keen to get started. I'm just like, yes, this is what we like to hear. Right? So then, as protocol, we're like, so Emily, how old are you? I'm 19. Oh, sweet. I'm actually 19 too. Like, you know, and she said, no way. I'm like, yeah, how'd you find it? How'd you find graduating school in 2020? Trying to find a common level of conversation to get comfortable, to make her feel comfortable around me. So I'm just a stranger calling her from, you know, fuck knows where. So the thing that's really weird is that, like, with our company, when we enroll a student in the course, we send like a thank you email, and the person who sold you the course has their full name on it. So it'll be like, thank you so much for enrolling in our course. We're so happy to have you with learning.com.au. Sincerely, Lukas Bertuna. This girl, Emily Maxwell, decides to search my name up. She must have liked how my personality was in terms of on the phone. And
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know what it was, but she added me on Instagram.
Ooh.
And I was just like, no, because her actual name was like, I remembered it because it was such a memorable name because that name was really familiar to me at the time. And I still remember her name, it's that familiar. And she adds me on Instagram, like, okay, whatever. She likes all my photos. Which I'm like, okay, that's like whatever, a bit weird.
Some people are like that, I guess.
Some people are like that. So then she proceeds to add my TikTok. And I'm just like, okay, so she's doing a full stalk on me now, like this is getting a little bit weird. Yes. She likes a couple of my videos. I'm like, okay, whatever, like it's TikTok, I don't really care, free likes.
Yeah.
She then DMs me. And she's just, hey, you're kind of cute. I'm like, no, she just said that. She said, hey, you're the person I talked to on the phone, haha. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, oh, I enrolled in this course. And I'm like, and then that was like the cherry on top. I'm like, okay, this is definitely her.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, haha, yeah, probably. How are you? Question mark. And then she's like, oh, I'm good. And then she starts flirting. So at this time, I'm with my ex-partner, so I'm in a relationship. So I'm just like, I don't feel comfortable. One, purely because I'm in a relationship, like, stay loyal. Two,
why are you pointing at me like that? We're not in a relationship.
Two, like, she's just stalked me.
Yes.
And followed me on Instagram and TikTok, liked all my photos, including photos of me and my ex, and the videos as well. Like, isn't that kind of a little creepy to you?
Yeah.
So I blocked her. That was my natural instinct. I blocked her straight away. Because one, creepy as fuck. Two, if word got out that, like, client, student,
yes,
I could potentially lose my job as well.
Yes.
That wasn't obviously the main reason. The main reason was because I was in a relationship, you know.
Well, now you're not. You could unblock them.
No.
And if you don't want to, I'm kind of into the psychopathic stalking thing, so...
How about this? I'll give you her at.
I will probably do nothing with it.
And, but for myself personally, I'm single. I'm going to just stay single and do me. I'm going to be a lone ranger for a while. All right?
Easy.
But no, I'm sorry, women out there. I know you're probably like, but unfortunately, I'm single and not on the market. So it is what it is.
Living life.
I am living life. But yeah, like that's a bit of a story for you there. It was kind of like, you know, my shifty business tactics. It was like a whole Uno reverse card, which I found hilarious.
Shit, you with those shifty flirtation tactics.
Oh, I wouldn't say like it was just common conversation tactics.
You said flirting.
She flirted with me.
Yes, that's
when
right.
she
I'm
messaged
saying
me.
she had
But
the
when I was
flirtation
talking
tactics.
to her, when I was talking to her, it was just like, no way, you're
Shitter
this
chatter,
old, like
yes.
this is that. Oh, I love animals. I got a dog myself,
Oh,
kind
that
of thing.
type of thing.
It's like normal conversation, like just what you do with everyone when you're selling a product.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Just a nice little story for you guys.
Yeah, well, there you go. But while we obviously know shifty things about the businesses that we've worked in, what about businesses? Have you ever seen a business that just is shifty?
What do you mean by that?
So, like, obviously there's businesses around where people see it and they know, they're like, oh, that's a drug front. Even if they're wrong,
Oh, yeah.
like, for example, I know of a bakery that is
Okay.
a 24-hour bakery. And, like,
Wait, whoa. Back up. A 24-hour bakery.
yes. Like,
Like, is in trading hours, or like the bakers are in there for 24 hours?
to my knowledge, I haven't gone in for a 2 a.m. loaf of bread, but to my knowledge, it is...
Who does?
Yeah, who does, exactly. But every time I've gone past at night, the lights are on. So I'm thinking, okay, there's probably a lot of overhead costs from this. Electricity, paying penalty rates for nighttime, presumably open 7 days. I mean, it's a bakery, that's pretty standard, so Sundays.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, bakers have to come in early in the morning. When I worked at a butcher, my boss would come in at 4 in the morning. So,
That's early.
Yeah,
for a butcher.
I don't know how. I think it was that
Is that
early.
every day?
Yeah, every day.
Every
6 days a week. And a little bit on the Sundays too.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I'm assuming bakers, it's probably pretty similar in terms of having to come in, bake the bread, do all your stuff in the morning. But there's a certain point where it's like, okay, they'd be open, but not open for customers.
Yeah.
And this one, they've also got like menu log I've seen on the window.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what purpose there is for them to be open at this time other than shifty ones. Obviously, I could be wrong, right?
Could be very wrong.
Could be extreme. Maybe there's a market for 3 a.m. bread, but I don't see it. You know what I mean?
That is a bit weird. Like, I don't really have places around here that's like that. We had a spa that was an official drug front across the road from a police station, actually, and they'd sell ice.
Right.
Yeah.
So like hiding in plain sight, I suppose.
Literally hiding in plain sight.
Right there.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't say it's smart, right? But it is like, you wouldn't expect
No, you wouldn't.
out in the open like that.
Yeah. But it's also dumb because, like, it would be the quickest drug bust they'd ever
Yeah, if they
have.
get
Like,
caught, if they
yeah.
find out, like, no hesitation,
Literally.
cross the road and you're there.
Like, you know, I couldn't imagine the dogs, like sniffer dogs. I don't know if they're stationed at police stations, but like, wouldn't they be going crazy if they could smell that from there? Wouldn't they?
Yeah, could you imagine like someone's very clean, no drugs whatsoever, and the dogs just because they can smell something clearly.
It's the massage oil.
Massage
It's like,
oil.
hey, that's probably what they did.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Well, that's also odd. Well, not odd, but it also works out that you could palm off people there who are going there for drugs.
Yeah.
As just horny bastards who think there's a happy ending.
You know what? That probably is a thing as well in a lot of massage parlors. Like
Happy
the
endings.
privately owned ones, I reckon.
Oh, I feel like it's more of a meme than an actual.
Yeah. What? We'll never know. Maybe go to one and just ask.
Yeah, I'll be like,
Some rub and tucky, sucky.
look, keep it real. I just want to know, right? I don't want one. I just want to know if this is a thing you guys do. If you know, let us know. Like, obviously, we've got the comments open. You know, you can comment whatever you like. Also, perfect opportunity to mention there is an email address to
Yes.
contact us.
Yes. On top of that as well, we can actually, if you comment some suggestions in terms of topics you guys want us to talk about in the YouTube comments or, our email as well,
Yes.
which we'll list in the description, please hit us up. We'll definitely see it.
And if you're listening or watching, the cockpitpod@gmail.com. Every better email address was taken. I tried, but that's what it is. The cockpitpod@gmail.com.
There you are.
So hit
So
us
we
up.
look forward to hearing your suggestions and what you guys would like us to talk about, or
That's what
even
we're all about.
bring onto the show, maybe.
Yes.
Getting some guests in.
Exactly. So
Got some big plans ahead.
we do.
On the topic, of shifty business tactics, I wanted to talk about some that I've kind of been listening to, and I'm very interested in McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
You know the golden arches,
Yes.
iconic.
Iconic.
They have made the yellow arches yellow because apparently, and I don't know if this is true, but it boosts your sense of hunger or appetite when you see the color yellow.
Is that
Just
so?
just like how if you wear the color red,
Mhm.
it boosts your attractiveness by 10%.
I've heard of that one. The Tinder one with the color red. It's very small. It's like 2%.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah,
2%.
more likely to get a right swipe.
But hey, in this day and age,
It's worth a shot, I guess.
we need what we need.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not on Tinder, but like the day I am, I'll definitely be wearing some red in somewhere.
Red. Exactly.
KFC.
Yes.
Have you ever driven past a KFC and you could smell their chicken?
Yes.
Yes. So what they do, and I don't know if this is true, but it's almost as if they have fans with either scented candles and they blow it out, or I'm pretty sure they did a scented KFC.
They
candle.
have, yes.
Yeah, they might do that, or they might I don't know, get just a plate of chicken and blow it out.
Well, the smell seems to be stronger, like when you're driving past, than when you're in the restaurant.
It smells like cleaning products in the restaurant half the time.
So it makes me
then-
wonder, like, my guess, a chimney.
Yeah,
Of
I was
sauce.
going to say that, yeah.
That
Most
is
likely.
and it's in the kitchen and it comes out. And maybe they're not doing it. They're probably not doing it on purpose, but you never know with
Yeah.
big companies and such.
And I think the biggest one, in my opinion, are casinos. I have a bone to pick with casinos.
Ooh.
They use commonly the color red, carpets or anything like that.
Mhm.
The color red basically signifies wealth, success, power, and money. Right.
Yes.
In a lot of cultures, as well, it's respected as a lucky and wealthy color.
Yes.
Like the Asian population with Chinese New Year, predominantly red because it corresponds with money.
Yes.
I don't know if you know with Asian New Year's, they give red
The
envelopes
Lunar
with
New
money in
Year,
them.
yes, I do know about.
Yeah.
I've seen the
So
red
they kind
envelopes.
of play on that. They also, which is crazy, they have fresh oxygen tanks and they pump in fresh oxygen in the casinos. There's a lot of people, a lot of machines, very hot. The heat gets very humid in there. They pump in fresh oxygen so you can stay in there as long as possible. This is Crown Casino, by the way.
Interesting. Yeah, I am very anti-gambling. So I work in I sell Tats Lotto tickets at work, at a news agent, right? So, but I don't know. It bums me out when people do it. I never do it, never on purpose anyway. But
You know what? And this is the thing as well, and I found with casinos and even the Tats Lotto place, when you win something, whether it's even a cent, exactly.
people say I love the bells or whatever it is.
The bells and whistles, and it's just almost like it's fucking music saying, "Hey, you're your success. You've won something. Keep doing it.
Does something
Keep
to
hearing
you.
it. It hooks you in." And it's also the whole like swiping nature of the jackpots, the slot machines.
Slot machines, yeah.
You have some background in terms of that kind of nature.
Yeah, I believe that obviously up and down, right? If someone's doing like this, I'll do it to both of you, right? The whole boom, boom, that, it gets your attention.
It does.
And what that does, it also is, setting off a lot of dopamine in your brain.
Yeah.
Just chemical that like keeps you stimulated and such. And they sort of do, what they've figured out is that is what does it, the whole
Yeah.
up and down thing.
I'm
Now-
doing it right now, so they're intrigued.
Yes, it's working. I hope it's working. It's not an accident that the whole up and down thing is the format of social media. In particular, TikTok.
Yep.
Now, TikTok,
TikTok's dangerous.
it is. Now, when you're on TikTok, I want you to consider this, right? First, consider getting off it, okay? Because I was pretty anti-TikTok, then I got onto it. I waste too much time. Like, it's not as much as some people, but
That's the thing. Like, I'm gonna stop you there. There's certain people, like my ex-partner. I'm gonna kind of drop something about her. She like hours, 4 hours, and then there'd be sometimes we'd be together and she'll be on TikTok, but then like she'll just stay on it like this. I mean, there's times that I've been like that, and it's the full screen. For me, it's like two reasons why I never got off it psychologically is it's a full screen, and it's just like I'm trapped. Like I can't get out of this because it is a full screen. On top of that, and this is also maybe why they have this kind of feature. There's been multiple times where I've gone to swipe out to get out of the app, and I've accidentally swiped onto another video. I'm like, oh,
because you got a full screen iPhone,
Yeah.
whereas mine's got the button still. So
okay.
yeah, I thankfully have not had that specific instance. But what I do find, well, it's obviously this whole type of thing of like, oh, well, I can't just stop here. It's like that meme, you know, the one with the never give up on the diamonds. The guy walks back and it's like,
Yeah.
just missed out, right? It's that type of thing. What if the next video is awesome and changes my life? And obviously, because it's happening so quickly, like these thoughts aren't coming into your head, but subconsciously they are, faster than you can even think about it. So you keep going. And I find that like, even Instagram Reels, which is essentially their equivalent, and it's just the worst part of social media.
I'll tell you something, Bruno.
I click it by accident, I'm stuck.
I'll tell you something. As you guys know, I'm doing this whole journey thing on my TikTok.
Well, do they know that?
Well, they do now. At Lukas.berdt, that's Lucas with a K. I'm doing this 30-day journey where at the end of my 30 days I go skydiving, which is 13 days away at the time of the recording.
At this point, yes.
Now, with the actually when this episode posts, it'll be 3 days until I actually go because it'll be done on Friday. So 3 days technically.
Yes.
I'm not ready for it. No. But one of the things I chose to do was I got off Instagram and Snapchat as a whole. And I'll tell you this right now, it was the best life decision I've ever made.
I feel like you're not going far. I mean, obviously I know you're putting the TikTok videos up, right? But I feel like you're probably going to end up substituting Instagram time with TikTok time.
Nah, see, I actually don't really watch a lot of TikToks. Most of the time what I'm doing with TikTok is the creative side of things.
Okay.
If you look at my channel, it is literally me talking. There's no like trends, there's no like this. There's a couple. But, you know, it's a majority of bum.
Yes.
A big reason why I got rid of Instagram was I didn't feel like I had the need or the desire to keep everyone updated on my life. Like, I don't want to take a photo of my food that I'm eating. Like, oh my God, I'm eating this tonight, or whatever. You know, or, you know, another big thing was influencers. I'm a big fitness person. As I said before, I'm training to become a personal trainer.
Yes.
What you find in the fitness industry online, especially on Instagram, all the influencers, they are jacked, they are ripped and everything, and it's just an unrealistic expectation that you have to put on yourself. I'll mention my ex again. I know I've done it a couple times, but she's a great example. And it really kind of made me a bit disappointed. She didn't really understand her own natural beauty. She'd go to the gym and she's like, okay, awesome, I did what I need to do. And she goes every day, which is awesome for her. But then, you know, there's been a couple times where she's gone on TikTok and she sent me a TikTok. She's like, Lucas, I want that physique. And I'm like, look, it's an unrealistic expectation because you don't know if she's on anything. You don't know if she's starving herself. You don't know if she's doing this, and the genetics come into play.
Yeah.
You need to learn to be perfect the way you are and the way you've been put on this earth. That's something that I'm working on now. You know, I have all these insecurities, but whether it's insecurities or not, creating a false expectation as to what you want, especially for guys at the gym, it's very unhealthy because if you can't exceed those expectations or reach those expectations, you're like, shoot, I'm like getting nowhere in life. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I might fall into depression, might, you know, even, you know, God help whoever one does, like, please, suicide even.
Yeah.
And it's a really scary thing. You know, people might fall into eating disorders.
Yeah.
You know, and that's scary. And it's just kind of getting out of those social norms and being like, no, you know what? I'm Lucas. No one else is me. Like, I'll dress how I want to dress. I'll talk how I want to talk. I'll do what I want to do. And no one needs to know that I've gone to the gym every night. No one needs to know that I'm starting up a podcast. No one needs to know that I'm going out go-karting with the family tonight. Like, no one needs to know that.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, it gives that's the one. Like I don't necessarily get the whole sort of like as in I don't necessarily experience the whole self-image thing like that, but I do. There's this feeling of like seeing people at restaurants or with friends or with their partners, and it's like I do get that sense of like FOMO. That's not necessarily like a TikTok thing. It's more of on Instagram and Snap.
I get that. Like, there's been multiple times where I've seen people out with friends and girlfriends and everything, especially, you know, with this breakup, me being alone, and I see someone with a partner, I'm just like, I wish that was me right now.
It was me watching the new ASAP Rocky song, DMB, That's My Bitch. It's him and Rihanna the whole time. Just like, man, that's what I want.
Yeah.
He gets the grill at the end that says marry me, and then she's got hers that says I do. I'm like,
maybe not like that.
A good song, but I was like,
yeah, it hits you.
And obviously on that, I mean, I'd done a video about Port Adelaide's coach, Port Adelaide fan. But there was one thing I mentioned is that sports media personalities tend to do this of like outrageous opinions that I'm not fully sure they believe because of the fact that it simply gets a headline, it gets views, it gets people talking. On TikTok, that full view, controversial political things, for example, that obviously you know in your heart and mind you disagree with, right?
Yep.
But it's that ridiculous that you have to watch it so you can make an angry comment or a duet or a stitch or something. They just, more screen time. It's just terrible.
It honestly, like, it scares me because social media has become such a normal thing in everyone's lives that, like, it is literally impossible for everyone to grow out of it.
Yes.
I feel like as the years goes by, everyone's just going to become more consumed by it to the point where, you know, like there's I don't know if you've seen this. There's a person that lives in the metaverse. Like he has a VR set and he lives.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Like, but that's the thing. It's going to get to that point eventually. You know, there's going to get to a point where we may have systems where we can project holograms and be with people from across the world. I mean, think about it. 50 years ago, you talk about FaceTime. What are you, a witch? You can talk to someone and see their face?
Across the world.
Across the world? Live? Imagine 50 years from now.
Yeah, well, it's... How old were you when you got your first social media?
Social media? I was 12 years old.
Okay. I was 7 when I got my first Facebook. Young. I know, they start them young. Not a big Facebook user even back then. But I was 10 when I got my first Instagram. And I remember at that point, I was one of the first people in my primary school to get an Instagram account. People started getting it. Now, I'm 19. That's a little past the halfway point of my life so far. Can you imagine the kids that were born in 2013? They're 9 years old now, right? Social media, Instagram, especially, we'll use that one because we know the time frame, has been around for 100% of their life. It's so normal. They get accounts when they're young. Also with COVID too, right? Dreaded COVID, like it's such a draining topic to talk about. But people have their conspiracy theories. Oh, it's pharmaceutical companies and vaccine companies, you know, trying to get things, you know, trying to get world reliance on their product. But truthfully, it doesn't come close to that of what electronics and social media companies gained from the fact that obviously people our age and older than us had this sort of, it's not really a reliance because it was just there to keep you entertained, but can you imagine a kid that missed out on the first 2 years of primary school, the majority of it? They get home and go on their iPad. Now they've got their iPad 24/7.
That's the thing with me, and this is when I started dropping off in primary school. It was like grade 5 and 6. Introduced to the world of YouTube.
You got an iPod in grade 3.
I had an iPad. I was very fortunate to have one. And I was consumed by that bad. Like, I would be at home and I'd be like, I'll watch YouTube. I'll watch Sidemen. I'll watch KSI. I'll watch Comedy Shorts Gamer. You know? And I'd watch it for hours on end because subconsciously you don't think about the time. And it's time to go to bed. and then I'll go to bed, and then I'll play like Pixel Gun 3D with Noah or Minecraft with Noah across the bedrooms.
Yeah, that's his brother. For what
My
it's
brother.
worth. Yes. Yeah, like that sort of thing. Like we have our obvious funny things of like, look, this is what we used to do when we're young, but we still had a normal.
When we with our generation at least, from 0 to, I'd like to say 10. At least with me, from 0 to 10, I had a pretty normal life growing up.
In the sense of like electronics.
Yeah, I like we had a PlayStation 2, and I'd play that whenever. I'd wake up early in the morning to watch Toasted TV before school.
What a show.
Go to school, do my schoolwork, go home. Maybe my cousins will be over. We'll play hide and seek, play some board games. They go home, and then I go to sleep. You know?
Yeah, like I don't want to be the whole boomer of like, oh, you know, look at these kids, they're being destroyed. But truthfully, when I do say something like that, it comes from a place of genuine worry for these people.
Yeah.
They're never going to understand. Like, I'm not even going to understand what growing up as a kid in the 90s was like with like some, I don't know when the PS1 came out. It was probably late 90s, right? I'm not going to know a time before that, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to know a time before Facebook was a thing because I was 1 when that started, you know. All these things. Imagine someone that's half my age. Terrifies me for their own sake. They're just... I'm aware that when I'm on TikTok, I have to get out of this black hole that's sucking me in when I'm on there. Not everyone thinks like that, where they think this is damaging me, I need to get off. And even when I know that, I struggle to get off. I can't imagine the lives that some of these kids will end up leading through essentially no fault of their own. And I can't really blame their parents. It's just become so normal in the world.
Anyways, on that topic, I think that might conclude our episode for today.
There you go. Had some deep chats.
In saying that, definitely a topic that we need to bring up again in the future.
Yes. Different facets of it. We need to get to the bottom of this.
Like we did say, please post your comments, post your ideas and topics that you'd like us to talk about, and we'll definitely talk about it. I know this was a bit more of a serious one. It was actually a mixture.
Yeah, we were having some fun at the start.
But, you know, we're kind of obviously trying to find what works, and whatever works and entertains you guys, we would love to obviously equate to that.
Say whatever you want, obviously, whether you love it or you hate it, whatever you say, we're going to see it. Comments on socials, YouTube, anything of the sort, and obviously email thecockpitpod@gmail.com.
100%.
We'll see whatever.
On top of that, you know what, for our videos, viewers, like and subscribe, please, if you do enjoy. Leave a comment as well. For our Spotify followers and listeners.
Any audio platform,
I don't know, like the video and follow us on
However
Spotify.
It all works. And you'll see us in another location, I suppose, for our next episode.
Yeah, and you know, TikTok guys, you know, every Monday TikTok comes out, follow that, and we'll keep you guys updated.
Easy. See you on the flip side.
See you on the flip side.